Hi everyone, Ignacio here from 316 Track Days, and I'm doing doing a coffee talk because I have a little bit of time this morning. I took the day off because we're going up to Hallett to race. I'm talking about my crash on March 27th, this past Sunday at Motorsports Ranch Cresson. There's an industry standard to not discuss accidents out of the respect of riders and the family. But since this is about me, I can tell you, and I'm sharing it because I'm hoping that it helps others in some way. So I dropped a post last night. I put a few pictures of my RC4, minimal crash damage, and thanks to God, as I mentioned, really thank you, God. I walked away with just some shoulder pain. I've just had I got some anti-inflammatory shot into my shoulder, and I'm moving pretty good. First off, I want to mention that it's 100% an error that I personally made in preparation for a member day at Cresson, one of the tracks which we just love going to. It's a great track. The rider is ultimately 100% responsible for the machine because it's my life, right? My machine, my life, I'm responsible. The old saying goes, when we throw a leg over, it could be our last time. Before I started making my mistake, I had to change out my tires. I had rain tires on and I needed to change back to slicks. And my wife says to me, you should let the Dunlop guys do that. You're really busy and you got a lot going on. And I kind of took that as a challenge of my manhood. And that's the truth. I was like, what? No, I can do this. And well, that's pride, isn't it? And pride's a bad thing. We know that's a sin. So what caused it? So I made a mistake. I have been working a lot and having a lot of late hours, and I waited till like late at night on Thursday, and I had to change my rain tires off, put on slicks. I also had to change my rear sprocket, which Nelson from the Dunlop crew had already pointed out, you need a new sprocket. Yours is worn, it's bad. And so I put a new sprocket on. I cleaned all my tires and rims. It looked beautiful. My chain was clean, and I installed my front, and I went through my mental checklist. And there's another mistake, mental checklist. And I did my axle, I did my pinch bolts in a specific order because I like to get the tire to spin freely before I crank down on the calipers. So the bolts for the calipers were just slightly backed off a little bit. It's like 9:30 at night, and my brother calls me, and we start to talk about some family things. I'm from a Hispanic family, and we always have some chisme or gossip. And well, there goes another sin, right? So, fast forward to Cresson, we're there, we're all giddy and happy. It's a beautiful day again. And I also want to mention I had new brake pads because before the February round, I had somebody else install new brake pads, which were fine for that round, but I didn't really get to ride it much. So I went out and I started riding, and I was feeling some vibration in the brakes. And I thought, oh, it's the new brake pads bedding in, no problem. So after about 5 laps in, I had brand new tires on, they're feeling good. I start to accelerate hard, brake hard. And I got a great drive out of a turn called Wagon Wheel. It's turn 1 at Cresson. And you kind of go up a hill, and then you gas it hard. You come down through a fast section called Ricochet. And you're already, after you exit Ricochet, you're back on the gas. You're at triple digits easily. I started to come into the next right-hand turn, which is Little Bend. And I downshifted to third, and I went to grab my brake and get off the bike to go through the turn, and there was nothing there. The brake was completely gone. So I started to just pump really, really quick, and I went to go for my rear brake, but there was nothing because guess who forgot to pump the rear brake after putting a new rear tire on? So I start to go into the turn, and I'm thinking in my head, oh, I got this, I could do it. And I started to get off the bike and get into lean, and I just hear this little voice in my head say, you can do it, but don't. And so I stand up and I run off. I went into the grass and began to downshift and scrub speed, and I was stomping at the rear brake, but was doing nothing. I wasn't slowing down fast enough, and the back straight was coming. So I went ahead and popped it into first, which locked the rear, and we slid a couple of times. And when it slid this way, I went on the ground, the bike went, in front of me, thank God. And I tumbled, and a rider who actually saw it happen, because he thought it was somebody else, and he went off into the grass slowly, kind of following what he said. That I tumbled, there's this huge cloud of dust, and he said he didn't think I was going to get up. But I did get up, and luckily my bike stopped right at the edge of the back straight. So when we picked it up, the left rotor was hanging off. If I had taken that corner, the left rotor probably would have dropped into the wheel, and it would have been a lot worse. My wife has been a complete sweetheart, and she never once has said, I told you. She could, but she never has. I mean, not even once. So at this point, I'm up to 2 offenses to God, right? Not respecting my there was the pride, and there was the, and so this is number 3, and this is not respecting my wife's advice. So, when God made man, he said, this is not good for man to be alone. I will make him a helper. And I really feel like, God gave us our wives to really help us. There's things that we do great, but there's so many things my wife does great. And, she's here to help me, right? Lesson learned here is I've got a lot of lessons learned here. I want to thank everyone that came up to me and offered to work on my bike for me from now on. It's very much appreciated. The bike is fine. My shoulder's doing good. I had some anti-inflammatory shot into it yesterday. I've been given great advice from expert racers who've been through similar things. I'm not the only no-break story because of mechanicals out there. It turns out most of the Moto America guys have something similar. As I was talking to them, when I'm working on my bike, I'm gonna not get distracted. I'm just gonna tell whoever I'm dealing with, like, hey, I can't do this right now. I need to finish this. Somebody else told me maybe mark my bolts with paint, and I'm probably gonna also do a written checklist if I'm doing something like that. Nothing's gonna ever be 100% foolproof, but I'm thankful to God that that little voice was there in my head. And last but not least, I'll probably listen to my wife some more. So we're heading out to Hallett, guys, and we'll see you soon. Take care, and God bless you.